The origin story of bloodbending is probably one of the most captivating storylines in Avatar: The Last Airbender. I remember watching it with my siblings in awe and shock when Hama revealed what bloodbending was and that she was a bloodbender. It darkened the show in the best way possible by adding a layer of maturity surrounding the truth of free will and choice. In the episode, The Puppet Master, we hear of villagers going missing in a small village, and we see an old woman, Hama, with a tragic backstory of loss, separation, and imprisonment, use her anger, sadness, and desire for vengeance to do the unthinkable: bloodbend. The episode is one of the most eerie, moody, and even sobering episodes in the Avatar. Not many episodes end with a character sobbing or showcase a character as morally corrupt as Hama and yet have mostly a justifiable reason for her evil doings. That's what makes her character so complicated, unlike someone like Azula, which, don't get me wrong, Azula is absolutely complicated. However, Azula's morality since she was a child always lent towards the evil side of things. We see she always had a cold bent, always lent toward the bad decision or the evil choice, but that's another video for another day. Hama, however, had a breaking point in her morality. From what we are shown, Hama was a regular Southern Water Tribe girl who lost everything and then entered into the realm of evil, if I may be a bit dramatic. This is what shakes Katara. To witness Hama and her strong need for revenge against the innocent is something Katara never wanted to be like. I mean, remember the Jet episode?
Think about what the Fire Nation did to your mother.
This isn't the answer. No. All those people. Jet, you monster!
Katara has always been against hurting the innocent, even if they are affiliated to the ones who cause evil. Katara never wanted the type of power Hama offered, but she got the power. She learned the dark bending, rejected it, but then she used it twice. 2 moments occur when Katara does what she never wanted the power to do: bloodbend. Let's break this down. But first, I'm Rhea. Sorry I've been gone so long, but I got a degree though. And this is Butterlore. Don't forget to subscribe for more content. Bloodbending, unlike any other secondary bending element, is the only one that requires a human to bend the water inside of another human, in essence, taking over their will. It's not just bending something on the outside against a person, it is literally bending the person. During this point in Avatar: The Last Airbender, bloodbending could only be done during the full moon and was first discovered by Hama in a Fire Nation prison cell. In The Puppet Master, Hama and Katara have an instant connection, and once Hama reveals she's actually from the Southern Water Tribe, Katara immediately feels like her connection with Hama makes sense. Hama reveals she was captured, but never says how she escaped. She claims it's too emotional to speak about. This is the first layer of priming done to Katara, establishing a connection between the two of them while also revealing that the Fire Nation did something terrible to her in order to get Katara to practice bloodbending. In The Puppet Master, Hama wants to teach Katara her waterbending methods. Her methods include pushing waterbending to its limits and past them. She shows Katara water can be found in anything, even in what appears to be dry land. She literally tells Katara,
"You've got to keep an open mind."
This is the second layer of priming done to Katara, teaching her valuable, useful information in order to get her to practice bloodbending. It establishes trust as a teacher to a student, so Katara would not hesitate in accepting her knowledge and training. And I just have to say, I love when Hama waterbends the water from a patch of flowers and pulls water from thin air. It's like elevated bending, a type of mastery in waterbending we hadn't really seen. After telling Katara she wants to teach her something only the best waterbenders can do during a full moon, Katara is open-minded, though a little apprehensive because of the stories of the missing villagers during the full moon.
To master waterbenders beneath a full moon? I don't think we have anything to worry about.
This should have been Katara's sign right here.
When they are finally alone at night during the full moon, Hama reveals to her bloodbending and how it came to be, and her story is devastating. Her tribe was raided by the Fire Nation and every waterbender was taken captive. They were imprisoned in dry elevated cells so they could not waterbend and were left to rot. With time, years actually, Hama realized she could push waterbending further. She started practicing bloodbending the rats in the prison cells every full moon when she felt her strongest. Soon, she was able to bloodbend the guards and escape. Even though Hama escaped, the ending of her story doesn't feel like victory. It feels like devastation, like a win-lose situation. On one hand, she took down the guards who took her in prison, a win of sorts. They mostly deserved it. They didn't have to be the ones who captured her necessarily, but surely they kept her locked away, so sure, They can get bloodbended. I don't mind. On the other hand, she lost something. Like, a portion of her humanity was thrown out once she bloodbended those people, and while it's somewhat justifiable, a means to an end of sorts, the proof of her loss of humanity is in the fact that even now in her old age, she bloodbended innocent villagers who had no responsibility for her being captured and imprisoned, and Hama felt no remorse. So it's complicated. A woman who was never meant to be a villain became one and sought out a student to train to follow her ways, and she hoped to find it in Katara. By the time Katara recognized the truth and the evil of it all, for lack of better words, she flat out refuses to learn. I have to admit, I always wanted Katara to bloodbend. Literally from the moment Hama told the story of what it was, I was like, please Katara, bloodbend. It just seemed too epic to pass up on. The same way I wanted Zuko to lightning bend, though I don't know if we ever seen Zuko lightning bend, only redirect, so shout out to his redirection. Katara's refusal is what makes Katara Katara. She's not interested in all the power, only the necessary kind of power. At this point to Katara, bloodbending was not necessary. Then she gets bloodbended by Hama. Plot twist! I know she didn't expect that. I certainly didn't expect that. Okay, maybe a little because Hama is crazy, but I have to say, what a smart way on Hama's behalf to further the process along in getting Katara to bloodbend. Though in the words of May,
you miscalculated.
Hama miscalculated how strong a waterbender Katara really is. If there was ever a moment that proved Katara's strength and skill, it is this moment. Katara starts talking her ish, y'all.
Not the only one who draws power from the moon. My bending is more powerful than yours, Hama. Your technique is useless on me.
Get chills at this part every time. Katara's bending is elite and some of the best fighting she's done in the show. And that's because of the fact she gets herself out of the pool of Hama's bloodbending. That's very, very hard to do. It just proves what a waterbending master she really is. And I have to say, my favorite part is when Katara pushes against the water that Hama throws at her with her hand and it breaks the water and bounces back on Hama. It's just everything. Katara proves to be a true waterbending master against Hama, and so far she doesn't need to bloodbend to stop Hama. However, Hama is clever and forces Katara's hand by bloodbending Sokka and Aang and having them fight each other. This is how you know Hama was aware of Katara's cares. She pressed the right button, hurting the people Katara cares for in order to get her to react and do the one thing she said she'd never do, bloodbend. In an intense moment when Hama causes Sokka and Aang to almost take each other's lives, their weapons fall and we see Hama's body moving weirdly. It's Katara bloodbending Hama, a true prodigy of sorts. No training needed, only a fierce need to protect those she loves. When she finally puts Hama down and Hama's being led away, it does not feel like a victory. Again, it feels more like a loss. The one woman Katara could finally relate to turned out to be insane, though justifiably insane. I mean, she did spend decades in prison, cut off from her people and unable to waterbend. So yeah, I get it. But Hama got what she wanted, even to her own detriment. She successfully passed on the art of bloodbending to Katara, even if Katara didn't want it. This was a loss for Katara. The episode ends like it started, cold, empty, and forlorn. It's implied Katara does not desire to use bloodbending again, but clearly never say never. The only time we'd ever see Katara bloodbend again, this time 100% her own choice, is in one of my favorite episodes, The Southern Raiders. Throughout the whole show, a key part of Katara and Sokka's storyline is that they lost their mom due to the war. When she was little, a Fire Nation leader took her mom's life, and ever since then, Katara has carried a wound. The wound is a mixture of sadness, anger, and a deeply embedded need for vengeance. With the help of Zuko, Katara is presented the opportunity to find the man who killed her mom and confront him. It's complicated because this is clearly the angriest Katara has ever been, though her anger is justified, though also exacerbated by Zuko's presence. At this point, she still hasn't forgiven him for all he's done against Team Avatar, even though now he's on their team. In fact, the only reason Zuko is even involved in choosing to help her is because Katara basically tells him if he ever wants her forgiveness, he needs to bring her mom back. She knows he can't do that. He knows he can't do that. But he offers the one thing he can because he wants her forgiveness. So he leads her to the leader of the Southern Raiders. Aang warns Katara against revenge, and she literally doesn't care. Typically, it's Katara who's warning people on what they should or shouldn't do. Look at when she tells Toph, Sokka, and Aang to stop the schemes and the runaway. She's usually the one who helps bring people down from their anger. Look at how she helped Aang after he lost Appa. She's usually the one to keep everyone together and move forward even if it appears impossible. Look at how she kept everyone together in the desert and fought to get them out, which is why this is so deep to witness, though it's not unbelievable. Katara also stands out because when she sets her mind to something, she doesn't. It's literally how she was able to get trained by Master Paku. She also had no problem threatening people if it meant protecting those she loves. Look at how she tells Zuko she would end him if he ever hurt Aang or appeared to hurt Aang. Though her anger in this episode seemed to be the most heightened. She seems to be on a mission to take this man out, not just confront him. Aang tells her she's behaving like Jet, and she explains how it's completely different. Jet hurt the innocent. She would be hurting a criminal. Aang warns her again, but understands she needs to go on this journey. Katara needs to confront her mother's killer. This episode is emotional because we finally see what happened to Katara's mom, the full story, and why. And eventually we learn the Fire Nation raided the tribe, searching for the last waterbender of the Southern Water Tribe, and Katara's mom lied and said it was her in order to protect Katara. Her mom was a gem, and Katara's need to avenge her, seek justice, makes sense. On Katara and Zuko's venture, Katara is precise in her bending. She's determined and she's angry. It's the night of a full moon. At night, waterbenders have significantly stronger bending, and Katara is led by rage. By the time she comes in contact with the man she thinks is the one who took out her mom, she immediately bloodbends him, without an ounce of regret in her eyes. Even Zuko is shocked by her skill and her action. Katara bloodbending to me is proof of how far she's willing to go in her heart. She did the one thing she despised against the man she despised more in her heart. Even though that man wasn't even the right man, but that's not the point. What matters here is her actions prove her hatred for one man was enough to use something she didn't even want the power to use. It makes you think back on why she rejected the idea of bloodbending in the first place. It's kind of like rejecting power because you know how dark you could go if you had it. This man is the only one who pulls this type of darkness out of Katara. It's the one time where the same power she rejected is the power she was willing to use on the person she felt deserved the wrath of the world. But once she looks the man in his eyes and realizes he's not the guy, she immediately stops bloodbending him. Just like that. It's as if she knew no one else deserved to be bloodbended but the man who took her mom's life. And if this guy wasn't the guy, then that use of power was not needed. By the time she confronts the right man, it's no longer nighttime, it's now day and it's raining, and a very beautiful setting, might I add. I've always loved the way this scene looked and felt. But what's important is the full moon is obviously not out, and I wonder if it were, would she have bloodbended him? I think so. This moment is the moment of truth. She's in the face of her mother's killer. Katara tells the man her mom lied about being the last waterbender, and he's shocked. And this is my favorite scene of the whole episode, when this horrible man asks Katara who was the true last waterbender of the Southern Water Tribe, and Katara tells him, "Me!" She waterbends more water than ever because it's raining, and with all the rage in the world, she collects the water and sends it to him. This moment, to me, is the sign that if the full moon were out, she would have absolutely bloodbended him. Regardless, she almost takes him out, but stops the water and lets it fall. All her rage, all her sadness falls down in one moment after she let herself strike him without harming him. And she walks away, admitting she can't take his life. And this is why she is a hero, a complicated, though righteous hero. Later on, for the first time in the whole episode, Katara looks resolved. She admits to Aang, saying she doesn't know if she couldn't take the man out because she's too weak or because she's too strong. And the episode ends with her forgiving Zuko and admitting she doesn't think she could ever forgive the firebender who took her mom's life. It's real. Her character is complicated, though unlike Hama, she didn't let what the firebender did to her and her family turn her into a weapon against people, even her enemies. I think it proves how strong she really is. Strong enough to confront her enemy while not tainting herself in the process. And if anyone watched Legend of Korra, spoiler ahead, in the Legend of Korra, we know bloodbending was made illegal in the future, so Katara clearly did not go on practicing that art. She likely let it die. In the same moment, she let her rage fall like water against the firebender. Bloodbending is the secondary element that will always be epic in my mind because of how dark it actually is, how it challenges choice and free will. And it makes me think of metal bending and how useful that is, but that's a video for another day. Well guys, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, and until next time, much love. Bye.